Hello, welcome back to Chrysalis Dawn. It's so good to be here. I hope you're all doing amazing today. I am going to be doing a channeled message today for everyone. This is timeless for when you receive it. We're going to call in our guide team and get into it. Welcoming in the Most High, welcoming in the Prophet Isaiah and Pocahontas and all the great prophets of ancient Israel, all the biblical prophets, and White Eagle, and wow, yeah, just ancient elder grandmothers. So, yeah, I got some beautiful insights today. Beautiful little pre-meditation that was sort of picking up on some Isaiah that I was reading earlier today. And it was all picking up on some personal cards I had picked earlier about this bigger picture of healing this underlying paradigm within our Western culture that puts the material world and the illusion of the material and strength and power based on material power, military power, material things, homes, cars. They specifically showed chariots, but that's very biblical. Like armies, chariot armies, and money, all things to do with possessions. Like you could say money as an idol, like all of that. And also like even building, when I say homes, it's not the home itself. It's sort of, we'll just say like the way that we extract resources to create certain palaces or mansions at the expense of maintaining a balance with, I guess, the glory of what God has provided in the natural world without any sort of regard to how the divine wants us to work with those resources and create with them through a conversation with the Most High and through Mother Gaia, which is an important story, but you have to really read between the lines to see the link between the truth of that in the words of prophets like Isaiah compared to how you would hear the truth of that in like a First Nations retelling of like ancient stories. So, I want to get into the cards and not like take too long in this story, but really there's a beautiful pathway, we'll just say. There's beautiful pathways opening up to really show the way, to really lead the way, that if you truly put God first in all ways, even within this fairly highly materialistic paradigm, which has its merits, which has its comforts and its conveniences and a lot of benefits, but there's also a lot of losses to it. And it's like we're leading way back to an ancient memory for people to reconnect with when people could hear the song of the earth, where they could create with, as they say in the Pocahontas movie, where they could create with the colors of the wind. And I know myself in some of my experiences down by the river, even in like the city where I live, because we have ravines with a beautiful backdoor onto nature within our urban condition. And even there, I've had moments when I've been really, really, really deep into my connection with the earth and deep in gratitude, where I've heard the songs of the land, even here, even within urban nature. And certainly when I've gone to more remote places where the land is less disturbed and there's less people there and less interference, it's a lot easier in like less congested environments to hear the songs of the land and the elders of the land just speaking to you. It's all there. And if you look at Isaiah talks about the personification of nature and the flowers singing and the birds singing. And I'm not sure if he talks about the birds singing. He talks about like the actual plants like singing, and he personifies things in a way that people kind of, I feel like they don't fully acknowledge the link to that lineage of being connected with that divine feminine aspect of self and of nature. And it really in order to do that, it really requires open chakras, right? It really requires having a very open and healed root chakra, and which consequently also allows you to have a very open crown chakra, and vice versa. And as you really open your crown chakra to really stabilize that, you really need to open your root chakra. And the prophets, actually, I talk about this in one of my Gem Elixir books. They really had a very more advanced, I guess, grounding of their root chakras to be able to do the sort of prophetic channeling work that they did and not feel threatened by the threats of the material world that were presented at them, to be able to believe in that the Most High, that the one true God would ultimately rescue them. And often, according to the stories and according to the Bible, often did. So, and certainly in the parts that I was reading parts of Isaiah 31 and Isaiah 34 and Isaiah 35. I think it was in Isaiah 35 that there was a very, very powerful recounting of how the Israelites were saved from the Assyrian army that was wanting to invade them. And it was very, very foretold by Isaiah himself that they would be protected and that Jerusalem would be protected. So it's going to be, this all plays into what's going on now with the Galactic Wars and Nibiru and this sort of downfall that's underway with these dark ETs that want to take over Gaia, and their relationship with the Egyptians and with the serpent and with the spell work that we've been dismantling, over and over and over and over and over. And like, they're showing me like zeros and ones and DNA. And it's like, it's been like a galactic genetic war. And it's just like, at times this was, I just remember I'd get messages like all the time, like clear DNA, like clear ancestry, clear DNA. And part of why this is so, so big for me is because part of my DNA and why I've been, called to do this work is because part of my DNA is from a Lebanese background. And if you look at the biblical tie into the stories I'm talking about and how this relates to what's happening now with this Assyrian army that's tied to these rulers in Lebanon that were that fell, that were against Israel. So, and that's like, one side of my genetic background is tied to that lineage. And if you see what's going on in Lebanon now, there's a lot of playing out of like ancient karma that's been going on there for a few years. And it's very sad and difficult, but it's part of, I think it is all part of what's getting rectified and resolved to like clear, I hate to say, like this ancient blood and the, even the curses that were put on their bloodlines, because of certain choices that their ancestors made, against, in some cases, even like mocking God, right? For false gods. And all of that needs to get cleared and rectified and worked out. So for, for whatever it's worth, I hope that you got something out of this message. There's probably a lot more to get into, but before we get further into it, I want to pull some cards and get a more detailed message for what you need to most hear today for your evolution, for your ascension, and for coming into your greatest abundance and prosperity, peace, and well-being at this time. So we're going to pull some cards from the Lemurian Oracle. All right, what do you need to know? What do you need to know? Yeah. Woo. Okay, so some of you are going through a fair bit right now, but it's all for a really amazing purpose. Okay, so the first card we have is Fire and Water, and the second one is the Surrender card. And then with that, we've got the Divine Cosmic Mother Womb. So there's a big, huge amount of releasing that we'll just say this is kind of coming underway for you now. And in order to unlock your greatest gifts, you need to be able to work through your deepest emotions that have been trapped, that have been stuck. What this is going to unlock is a new divine masculine energy for you with this new man card that is going to bring in an abundance that is not based on this, like I said, this old sort of domineering, conquesting, empire like version of acquiring wealth and status, which is, to be honest, it's just the ways of the world in our current paradigm, so I don't want to say like toxic masculine or anything. It's just like sort of like our sort of still residually patriarchal, masculine dominant world that we live in, unless you're, living off in a remote tribe, which is maybe not more than 1% of the people living on the planet at this time. So there's beautiful things coming in for you. This is whether, I don't want you to think if you're a woman watching this, that this is not for you. This is for anybody watching this, man or woman. But I feel like probably the divine masculine is going through they're going through a deep transformation at this time. And there's a need to really take a step back and receive a lot of nurturing, and like it's almost like a complete timeout is needed, and a complete letting go to allow for a cellular transformation, it's even a genetic transformation. Like I said, a lot of your ancestors and male ancestors have been, passed down certain beliefs and just survival attitudes, mechanisms that are so subconscious and ingrained, that are going through a transformation to move into New Earth and to move into like these new ways of being that for the New Jerusalem, as foretold by the prophet Isaiah. And it's just really beautiful, and it's really humble, and it's really, with this unicorn here, like a lot of purity is coming through for you, viewer. A lot. It says on this card here, you are loved, you are safe, rest now and sleep well. And over here, release misaligned energies, return to your truth. So in order to really in order to step into being willing to take this step back, which may feel like a failure type of surrender, especially for someone in a more dominant masculine energy, to surrender might seem like a failure. But it's actually, like, if you look at the Isaiah 34:35, through prayer to God and to the one true God, Hezekiah was able to protect Jerusalem, and his prayer was heard despite his flaws. And it was for the sake of David. That was what came through in Isaiah's message. It was for the sake of King David that Israel was saved. And like over 100,000 people that were wanting to attack them perished in they thought it was I think they said, historians say it was like a bubonic plague that happened. But it's really reigniting that lineage of King David and and as you move forward, that moves into the Arthurian dynasties and Jesus and so on, right? So, it's just still relevant for everyone, because I'm feeling, even within my DNA, an activation here that's really powerful. So let's get a few more cards. Okay, you know what? I'm not ready for that to come out. Hello. So there actually was quite a gap between when I was able to pick up the second part of this reading from the first part of this reading recording. And what I noticed in the gap was a lot of these energies that we spoke about in the cards, about this surrender and unlocking gifts, coming forward, this new man energy of really the masculine really opening very, very deeply to their truest selves and to love, and letting go of just letting go of any need to unnecessarily control, especially around love. It's really been coming forward, and there, fire and water, there's been a lot of feelings coming forward, a lot of truth coming forward, a lot of rest, a lot of trust in the universe for bringing forward abundant resolutions all around. Yeah, and a lot of this, I think for a lot of people, this has to do with love situations. There's a lot of love situations that are helping bring forward this level of healing. I just want to say, it's so funny, even for myself, little quick story in terms of this unlocking your gifts. I had to go to this annual general meeting tonight for my daughter's daycare, and I was trying to figure out if I should eat any of the food there. And so before I left, I was like, well, just go a little bit before, and it's okay, have a little of the chicken, have a little of the salad, and don't eat the potatoes. And of course I didn't know what the food was going to be. And then I get there, and they had all Greek food from, I think it was a Mr. Greek type restaurant. So there was, chicken souvlaki, Greek salad, rice, potatoes, pita, and this sort of beet chocolate cake that was beet based. And so it was just hilarious, because it's oh, that makes sense that it was Greek food, because chicken, salad, potatoes. So yeah, so I was very obedient to God, and I
stuck to the chicken and potatoes. God didn't say anything about the cake though, so I did decide to try the beet chocolate cake, which was delicious. And beets are really great for when you want to get more grounded and heal the root chakra. Tomatoes are too, and I noticed I've been eating a lot of tomatoes lately to help with that. So anyway, I just thought that was really cool because like psychic gifts have been really going through an expansion right now in allowing for this deeper rest and healing with the Divine Mother and just surrendering into a deeper love and acceptance of self. And for a lot of people, like through a divine union that's kind of coming together in the 5D, in the spiritual realms in a beautiful way, because of again this new man energy coming forward. So and yeah, on the bottom of the deck, as they say that, it says winner takes all the love, acknowledgement, peace, awakening, fulfillment, wealth, and joy. And that's just like this new abundance energy, right? And these new gifts. So it's really, really beautiful. I'm gonna take that. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look. And it says here, it's all happening for you now. Expect good news about something by tomorrow. This is so exciting. Like I was saying, there's really amazing shifts taking place for people here. So what else do you need to know? What else do you need to know? And this is all from having this comprehension, right? Like a lot of stuff I was talking about this deeper reconnecting with self and the earth and the feminine. Wow. Okay. I'm so excited. This is such a great reading. Superpowers is what's written at the top of the card. And below it, it says, there's never been a better time to recognize your strengths and value. So to have this superpowers card come out with the unlock your gifts card is a double confirmation that there are really, really big spiritual gifts getting activated for people right now. For many of you, it will be connected to your psychic abilities, your prophetic abilities. It could also be artistic talents, musical abilities. Some of you may even be songwriting if that's something that you're interested in. These are all just things I'm hearing. Some people might even extend to painting or like a combination thereof. So that's really exciting. And I actually saw a sign today where I saw a car that had, on my morning walk, that had a witch symbol on it, and then it also had a sticker that said artist. And I know I did a very, very big clearing last night. And there was another card next to it that had a little Buddha inside of it. And it says right here on this card, welcome peace into every area of your life. Buddha bliss is yours. And so the reason why I'm saying all this is because there was a clearing I did last night in my prayer time that was very powerful. I haven't felt a big clearing like that in a while, of like some very, very heavy witchcraft energies that have been really wanting to block this divine feminine energy, really specifically wanting to block Mary Magdalene's energy. And as their spells were being cleared, I could hear them screaming in the spirit. I could hear them screaming, it was like shrieking. So a lot of them were getting sent back to, quite frankly, to hell, and back to these sort of like dungeon-like conditions that they had done, because that's really what they had tried to do to these high spiritual beings when they were wanting to steal their destiny, was to basically take their good karma and put them in a spiritual jail cell, and all that was getting returned. And it's how this card keeps showing up, so I have to show it. It's because you've passed tests, like you've passed some initiations, you've completed important lessons, and you're just too conscious, you're too pure in God's eyes for the binding of that spell work to continue. And so it has to get cleared out, and it has been cleared out here. It says here, you are so wise, so conscious, so pure, so holy, and so loved by God. It's amazing. It's amazing. And so again, there's creative abilities getting activated or enhanced, or psychic abilities, and even like you might even find that the creativity might pour out into like new kinds of business savvy that's very, we'll just say, like aligned with like newer thinking, with this abundance card showing up next to the new man, if that's, you know, your thing also. So that's really exciting. So what else is coming towards the viewer? So it's kind of, if there's a little bit of just disjointedness between the two parts of the reading, do forgive me. But it is, I've got a very clear message to continue it from where I left off. So it says here, Lemurian elders sharing ancient wisdom of deep space and the dream time. Beautiful. So this is, this actually really connects me to this woman on this card, because she looks like she sort of like Pele, like the goddess from Hawaii. And we know Hawaii is connected to the land of Lemuria. She's like this, she's representing this Lemurian elder that's wanting to share things with you. And some of that might bring up some really deep emotions. Sometimes when you remember like things that are very ancient, then when they kind of come up in your Akashic record to be processed, it can be quite emotional. Like sometimes, I did have an experience once of remembering the fall of Lemuria, and I didn't really realize that that was what it was at the time when it was coming up. It was actually pretty early on, in after I had like a massive heart awakening experience about, it was over 6 years ago at this point. And it was just like the flood was really, really intense. The energy of like that, the flood that came in and wiped things out was kind of an overwhelming sensation. So, you know, when I see that with this fire and water card, it really makes me think that there could be more coming up about this for people now. More healing. And they specifically wanted me actually to have some of my Lemurian crystals out on the Unlock Your Gifts card while I'm talking about this. So this is important. It's a very specific message, but if, you know, it's a message that's really meant for you if you're watching this, that your Lemurian, you know, ancient gifts, superpowers, things, abilities from that time, your ancient wisdom, your ability to even manifest in the dream time, all of that is coming forward, but there has to be some, most likely some healing of the ancient past as well as part of the reactivation of this ancient memory, right? Because the good and the bad are going to come up together, and what maybe bad, maybe good and bad is the right way of putting it. Just the happy and the sad, the beautiful and the traumatic, all of it. You know, it's because it's opening a door onto a whole time period, and I don't think you can entirely pick and choose what your the window that you're stepping onto when you're unlocking the genetic memory of a whole epoch. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. So, but it's beautiful and it's exciting, and you know, you're certainly more than capable of handling it for where you're at right now. And I feel like I was saying in the early part of the reading, having some grounding in First Nations wisdom and the songs of the earth and Isaiah, and it's all part of this even deeper ancient Lemurian way of life that was very connected to the dream time, and where everything was very fluid between the essence of things. You know, people could very easily understand the healing power of a plant. They could grow a plant faster by putting consciousness on it. They could really very quickly, easily manipulate water to serve certain purposes. Like everything was much more connected, and that's really, it's very much a feminine, like a lot of feminine wisdom stuff here coming forward again, which is also connected to Mary Magdalene, and also what was being blocked by this witchcraft. And also it's like part of, I don't want to say it's just women doing this witchcraft, but people who had some sort of vested interest and you not being able to manifest abundance in this sort of ancient way, which is coming, we'll just say it's starting to come more back online now, and it will come even more as we move through 2024, 2023 and 2024. It's a powerful shift. It's a powerful shift in the whole economy. There's a big wealth transfer going on, and it's going to reflect in every area of society, and it's going to make things a lot more equitable. And so it's really, really exciting what's going to happen over the next 2-3 years. So what else do you guys need to know? Let's get a couple more cards. What else, guys and girls, ladies and gents? Ooh, Syrian light forces deployed. Ashtar command incoming. And that falls on the new man card. So, and I would say like a lot of Syrian energies, and Commander Ashtar is definitely connected to the divine masculine. A lot of masculine who have stepped up into more of a leadership role as a divine masculine often do work with Commander Ashtar. So somebody here that's watching this that is in a more predominantly masculine energy is kind of stepping up their game here. For sure. Like there is this message is for everyone, but I just feel really strongly that like there's at least 3 or 4 men that will ultimately watch this video who are being, we'll just say, like pretty deeply transformed right now, and through the new year and through February and March, and by the spring, it's interesting. I heard that it's sort of kind of game over for the old earth ways having a hold on these masculine watching this by that point. And because you'll have so completely stepped into this new understanding of this very ever-flowing an ever-flowing abundance that you can trust through love and through spirit and through connection, really with this hibiscus flower in her hair, through a very powerful connection with the feminine and with your feminine. So there's an interplay, like I was saying, there's like a dance between a divine feminine energy with this kind of, I don't want to say just awakening divine masculine, but a divine masculine who's awakening to another level of being this new man. That's like a very high level of service in this new man identity. But it's more than identity. It's like I said, it's a transformation at the soul level. And this feminine energy that they're tapping into partially through this feminine person they're connected with is kind of leaping, giving them the courage to leap is the right way to put it, helping launch them forward. And it's all happening, in tandem, because these Syrian energies want to help bring them forward also. So yeah, like I said, for a few of you, get ready, buckle up, because you're really getting called. And some of you have a very big task here. So it won't be, I don't want you to feel daunted by it, but because you do kind of have to surrender a little to being shown the way with how this is all going to work, which is a little different than how like the masculine often tends to do things, where they usually like to be more, you know, in control, and it's like you set the goal for what you want to create, and then you move towards the target. And it's not really like that. Like, you're being given the goal by a more ascended higher being who has a higher vision about what's needed for humanity and your role within it, and you're complying in a way, and you have to be okay with that in a new man kind of way, and still be like bold, because it's not that you're meant to be weak in how you actually do this. You're actually meant to be very masculine and very strong in how you ultimately present to the world with this, but it's not all of you. It's you know, you're very, I guess I'm feeling you're very, very guided in this, what you're stepping into. And it is going to, so there is the surrender aspect to it, but it's going to give you so much fulfillment and abundance, awakening, wealth, and joy, and acknowledgement that I don't think you're really going to care that, you know, that you were working with higher beings here to move into this new you. So that's a beautiful message for the masculine energies watching this, or whoever resonates with that message. If you know, could be resonating with the masculine energy within you, if you felt into that, and if that was giving you deep confirmation and tingles. So what else? The quantum field. You're attracting energy and consciousness from other galaxies. And then with that, receive the download and make sense of it later. Wow. Okay. So this has to do with this unlimited abundance that I was talking about. And there's just a lot coming in, a lot of higher frequency energy. There's, you know, instead of thinking that you're limited to what is available in this earth plane, there's a new abundance coming in through the quantum field that is truly unlimited. It's truly unlimited. A lot of it is very starseed energies coming from Lyra. There's some planetary energies coming in from, I'm hearing from Jupiter. But like I said, other galaxies as well, Andromeda. It's big. It's big. Neptune energy would have a lot to do with this unlocking your gifts, and Jupiter's energy would have a lot to do with this abundance. So just, you want to connect with all those energies that I just mentioned in your meditations, and be conscious about drawing those in. And you may not fully understand all of these downloads that you're receiving when you meditate, but that's okay. Know that it's like that it is helping you in every way to awaken these gifts of yours, and only good things are going to come out of it. I don't see anything negative here. There's really nothing negative in this whole reading. It's beautiful. So I'm really excited for all of you. I feel like you're all like big, you're stepping into like, God always puts it like superstar roles, but like you're not just in a traditional way of being a superstar. Like you're becoming one of God's superstars here in terms of what God wants to build for New Earth, New Jerusalem, and to really continue to fulfill the I don't want to say just one thing and say it's like just one lineage's prophecies, right? Like the rainbow right? Because like right under here it says radiating your rainbow light body in service to humanity. So that kind of speaks to Buddhist lineages. It also sort of speaks to the rainbow prophecy and the rainbow warriors. But you know, I also thinking of like the prophecies of Isaiah. They're all really relevant, and there's no exclusiveness. It's a vibration and an outcome and an evolutionary tangent that people foresaw a long time ago that's manifesting now for you, right? And like there's something that is going to give you really clear confirmation about this very soon, and maybe even by tomorrow. That's going to give you excitement about moving forward with all of this, with more, just feeling more grounded about it, and not like that this is still a little bit talk, talk, not action. No, this is actually moving into action, okay? And it's for the reason being of what I just said about the witchcraft being cleared. And it was, I've gone through spats of this and periods of this for a long time now. And last night was a really, really, really big clearing. And there's been a lot of confirmations from a lot of prophetic people with prophetic word who hear God that I trust, that really confirming that the lessons and the initiations that needed to be learned to really receive all of this wealth activation and these powers and this memory without any sort of manipulation of them in a negative way, like that's all done, and God's just 100% certain that people can move forward here. So congratulations, superstars. If you'd like a personal reading, my information will be in the description box. Please like this reading. Please subscribe to my channel. And it will mean the world to me if you like the reading and subscribe. So please do that now before you go. And please, next time you come to watch one of my beautiful videos, when you get on, please like the video. It means everything to me to help get these messages out to more people. I'm sending you all lots of love, and I'll talk to you soon.